All right, it's a few minutes after 10, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. We should be here today to talk about Office 365 collaboration. I'm Patty Smirk with Simplex-IT, and this is our monthly Office webinar. We do these once a month, and today we'll talk about Office 365. We've talked about some of the features of Office 365 in the past, quite a few times actually, but we thought it'd be a good idea to talk about how we can use 365 to collaborate. So how you can work on multiple documents, how you can use Skype for Business to have an instant message conversation or have a phone call back and forth or screen sharing, things like that. So today's topic is going to be focused on everything about working together on a document. So Bob's also here with me. I know that a lot of you know Bob Coppedge, so he's going to be my counterpart today in sort of bouncing back and forth with having more than one person work on a document or have a call or whatever. So say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is my way.
All right. Um, so why don't we go ahead and get started? So if you've attended any of our webinars in the past, the slide might look familiar to you. We like to call it our NASCAR slide because it has all of the graphics of all of the great partnerships that we have at Simplex IT. So should we be your IT department? Well, we sure hope so. So if you can answer yes to any one of these questions, please let us know. We'd love to help you out with any of your IT needs. Shoot, this is the wrong slide. We have a lot of great webinars coming up. You can check out our website for that. We'll talk about some graphics in Outlook next month. I'm sorry, some graphics just in Office next month. Our PM webinar is on Thursday of next week. Well, we'll talk about just the basics of Microsoft Project. So we've talked a little bit about Project and um, some of the topics that are a little bit deeper in Project, but I just want to take a step back and just cover the basics of Project. So we'll talk about that next month. All of our webinars are listed on our website. So if you go to simplex-it.com and you look at the events calendar, all of our webinars and the topics will be listed there, and you can register there as well. So Simplex IT has a number of different services. Of course, we've talked about wanting to be your IT department, so we're your virtual CIO, but we also recently added a couple additional branches to Simplex IT, and that would be the DBA branch that Doug heads up. So he likes to help you out with ensuring that your health, performance, and usefulness of all of your corporate data is as good as it can be. And then I head up the project management branch, and I like to help project managers at some of the small to mid-sized businesses incorporate what some of the big guys do. So that's very easy to do with things like Project Online. So if you need any help with either one of those, certainly reach out to Doug or myself. And our email addresses are up there on the screen. All right. Somehow I have managed to merge two slides shows together. So I apologize for that. I think I started off with Office 365 and then somehow it went into my last month's presentation. So that's okay because that was my last slide anyway. So we wanted to actually just go to more of a demonstration and show you some of the things that you can do with Office 365 and not just death by PowerPoint. So I'm just going to minimize my PowerPoint presentation. And I just want to start off with sort of a real life scenario. So this happens all the time. So I want to tell Bob something. So I'm going to start an email to him and I'm going to say, maybe it's early in the morning or I don't know if he's around. So here I'm just going to start an email to Bob and I'm just going to type in Bob and I'm going to select his name and I'm going to see that, oh, I can see that he is online. Now, if I hover over top of his name, it looks like he's in a conference call, which he is. He's in this conference call. If he wasn't, it would say that he was available. It may also say that he's out of the office. It might also say that he's away. So here I can see if maybe he's just run down the hall for something or if he hasn't, if it says that he's been away for 18 hours or something, maybe I know that he hasn't been in the office yet this morning. But here I can see that he's in a conference call. I'm just going to pretend that this says that he's available. Um, and instead of typing out an email to him, I see that he's available and I think, oh, you know what? I'm just going to send him an instant message because this email, it's pretty quick. I just didn't know that he was around. So now I decide that now that I see that he is in the office, I'm going to go ahead and send him an instant message instead. So I'm just going to go down to Skype for Business to do that. Um, and here you can see, let me drag that over to my other monitor so you can see what I see. Here you can see my Skype for Business contacts, and I see that I have Bob. He is one of my favorites. So Bob, congratulations. I'm just going to double click
I
on.
made it. I made the list.
Notice you're the only one in my favorites as well.
That's
uh,
kind of sad, actually.
I may have only done that for today's webinar. So,
Uh,
all right,
can I interject something real quick here?
please.
Um, here's one of the things that we want to make sure you understand is what's happening is we're using Office 365, and Office 365 keeps track of everybody within your organization through their Outlook calendar. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is when you look at the Skype for Business, you see whoever you choose that you want to see within your organization, and it'll show you automatically there whether or not they are busy, online, offline, and if they are even, their computer's up, but they haven't touched it for a while, it'll basically say, yeah, they're available, but haven't seen them for a while. You can add people outside of your organization as well if they give you permission, but a lot of this part right now just comes within your organization, assuming your organization is using Office 365. So, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, thanks, Bob. Um, as Bob was saying, we can add other people from other organizations. I just wanted to add on that you can add your Skype contacts as well. So down here at the bottom, I have a couple Skype contacts that they don't have Skype for Business. They're just my friends or family that use Skype, but I have them all integrated into one. So if you're looking to use Skype for Business, but maybe not all of your contacts also have Skype for Business, that's okay too, as long as they have Skype. All right, so I was going to, now that I know that Bob is around, even though he's in a conference call, I'm going to send him a message and I'm going to say, do you have a minute? And I'm just going to send that to him. Because he's in a conference call, I'm going to make sure that it's okay that I bug him. Um, so now we'll see what he has to say. And I have a question in mind about this document that I'm working on. So I'm trying to figure out, in this scenario, let's say I'm trying to figure out some wording on this marketing piece that I'm working on. So I just need somebody to sort of bounce my ideas off of. So as you can see on the screen, Bob says that he's really busy with a fascinating webinar, so that's great. So I'm going to continue typing back and forth with him for a few minutes, let's say, and I'm going to ask him a couple questions about this marketing webinar. Now let's say that originally I thought that this would be a quick instant message conversation, but it's not going so quick, and I say, you know what, this would be better if I could just call you. So I'm going to say, hey, can I just give you a call? And of course Bob is going to say yes. um, so now I would click on the call button. So now I've got my instant message conversation up. I'm not going to click on call now because that'll put this one on hold, and it gets kind of squirrely having two calls. Think of it like on your phone when you had call waiting and you have to try to switch back and forth. So we won't do that in this webinar. But in real life, I could click on this call button and it'll call Bob, and I could have a conversation right through my computer. Um, the same goes for a video call. So I can have a video call. I can click on video call. And I can do start my video. There you go. So if I wanted to start my video, I could click start my video, and that starts it for Bob. He would also have to click start my video for me to be able to see him. So it's you can share yours um, without other people sharing theirs. And you can see if you look on the let me drag this over so you can see what it looks like. If you look on the webinar um, Skype for Business session, you can see that Bob has shared his video. And same thing with me. If I start my video, you can see there in the thumbnail that you can see the video as well. Okay. So sometimes that's nice if you want to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. I'm just going to stop that now and slide this off my screen. Sometimes it's nice to have that video conversation. Sometimes it's nice to just have audio, so you have your choice of video or audio. And sometimes it's nice to just not talk to people. So that's why you have your instant message conversation. So let's say that we're talking on the phone, Bob and and I say, I just I want to be able to show you this document that I'm working on because I can't get the wording right, and it's something that you just have to see. So let me show it to you. So I would share my screen with him, and I'm already sharing my screen with you, but I can click on it again so you can see what it looks like. So when I click my share screen, I can click Present Desktop, and that shows him my desktop. I'm going to switch over now to, let's see, I'm going to switch over to Word Online. I had one open here that I wanted to show you. Um, so I have a document open here. It's called 10 Reasons Why, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, I really need Bob's help with this. So I've sent him a message. I've asked him to open up this document and help me out with it. Okay. So I have this document open. I'm going to click on Edit, and I just opened this in Word Online. It's shared in our SharePoint at the office, so everybody has access to it. Bob and I work on this one together, so I'm going to say I want to edit this document. Now, in this scenario, Bob also has this document open. We're having a phone call. We're talking about how we want to make changes to this document. So here I can click on anywhere and make changes to it. But what I wanted to show you was how Bob's cursor pops up with wherever he's typing. So we've used this actually in real life quite a few times where we're trying to work out wording on something and we say, okay, what do you think of this? And we'll type it out. And it's nice to be able to see on the screen rather than just, changing versions and emailing each other back and forth. Um, and I don't know, Bob wrote some garbage on the screen there, but you can see his his changes on the screen. So I can see that Bob has added this text here, and if I say that I want to make some changes to it, I can certainly make my changes as well. So I modified his text, and then he should be able to see, and Bob, you can verify this, if you could see my cursor there typing, just like we can see yours.
Oh, I see it all right.
All right, and this works for multiple people as well. So we've limited it to just two, but if we had, if you wanted a team of people to work on this together, you can share it with multiple people. You would see everybody's cursor. Everybody has a color. That kind of reminds me of Google Docs, where everybody kind of has a color with their cursor, and you can see their changes. It doesn't change the text color at all. It's just to sort of keep everything straight when you've got multiple people working on a document together.
And if I can interject again,
Yeah, please.
so if you take a look up at the top right, right underneath share, you'll see the three other people are here. Patty, can you click on that? You can actually see, so we have two people who are editing online, and then we have Zoe, who's actually working on this document offline. And what will happen is it will take and help you determine how to save the changes. So this is, on one side, this demonstration is, I don't want to say a little bit silly, because what we could also do is just use Skype for Business, and Patty could allow me to make changes directly on her screen, just through the giving control. You can see, you probably see that up at the top of your screen. But what can also happen is if I'm supposed to be working on paragraph 1, somebody else is supposed to be working on paragraph 3, somebody else is working on paragraph 4. This gives you the ability to all work on it, even if you're not 100% sure who's working on it at any one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have something where different people have to make changes to different sections from 10 o'clock, we just got word at 10:18 that this has to be done by noon, and 3 different people have to work on it, we don't have to worry about tripping over each other because we can actually see as people are making changes, and we can see who's making those changes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Um, all right. As I'm working in Word Online, let's say like what Bob was talking about with his scenario, we have a document where we need a lot of input. Right now, three people are working on it. If I wanted to share this document with other people, let's say I wanted to share it with somebody else in my office because I needed their input, I can click the share button and I can share that with other people by inviting them to it. So I can start by typing out their name, and then that will create a drop down list of everybody's name who matches that. So here I can click um, to share it with Michelle. I can add a personal message. This is the document I was telling you about, or hey, can you take a look at paragraph 2? And then I could share that with her. It's already shared with her, so I'm not going to reshare it with her, but I wanted to show it to you. A couple other ways to do that is you can get a link to it. So if you just wanted to send somebody a link directly to it without going through the share, I've done that in the past when I invite people and for some reason it doesn't work. They don't get the email. They don't can't access it. So I've done the get a link before. Bob, I don't know if you've used that in the past or if you have any other good real life scenarios of when you would use the get a link versus inviting somebody.
Keep in mind that we're talking about Microsoft here, and Microsoft loves to give you 20 different ways to do the same bloody thing.
Right.
And each of those 20 things are just slightly different in terms of why, because, some cases the other person's not part of your organization. In another case, your person is a Mac user or has Office or only uses a browser or the like. And each one of these, and this is one of the problems, and it's also the strength, each one of those nuances work a little better or a little worse depending upon how you're looking to share. So any of them should work, or all of them should work with another person within your organization that has Office. But when you start going away from those, different ones will work a little bit different. And absolutely reach out to us if you have questions about which ones work best or worst, or just try it and see what works for you.
Absolutely. And if you forget who you've shared it with, or somebody says, hey, I can't access that, you didn't share it with me, and you just want to go double check, that's the last option there is the shared with, where you can view everybody that this document is shared with. And this one happens to be heavily circulated throughout the company. So it's shared with quite a few people. All right, let me go ahead and click close. Now, the other thing that's nice about 365 and collaboration is sharing through OneDrive. So I just have my OneDrive document or my OneDrive open here in a separate tab. So let's say that I'm working and I find here that I want to share this with somebody. I can do that as well. And then Bob, I think you had something that you wanted to show with sharing it um, through, oops, I'm sorry, just through the desktop.
Right.
So
And let me
here,
see.
yeah, so you can do it both ways. You can do it through OneDrive, or you can do it like right through Windows and right through your desktop. If you want to do it through OneDrive, like I'm going to show you, you can just select the document, and then up at the top you can click Share. Very similar to opening the document in Word or Excel. This is nice if you have maybe some photos or something that you wanted to share it with, or you could share an entire folder this way. Um, Whereas if you just have one document open in Word and you use the share that I showed you in Word, you can only share that one document. So this is a little bit nicer, or I shouldn't say a little bit nicer, a little different in that you can share the entire folder with other people. You just select it and click share, and then you'll notice you have the same option to get a link here as well, so you
Okay.
can create a link and send it off to somebody.
All right. Is it okay if I show you?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my second monitor. So that should come up in a second. So what I've done is I've actually installed the OneDrive for Business client on my desktop, which means that I have this OneDrive for Business. If I just open up my computer, in my favorite places, I have OneDrive for Business, and I'm just going to go because I want some people to see this marketing folder. And I'm going to go to Share, to right click OneDrive for Business, and I want to share that. And boom, boom. It'll go through the sign-on. And we use actually a higher level of security using ADFS. So what it then allows me to do is to invite people, and I want to be clear, these do not have to be people within your organization. So I can essentially go and send it to my email account. It's outside, and here's a folder with the videos we've created. I think this has some of the videos from some of the webinars we've done. And what this will do is this will share everything in this folder to this user through a link. And I'm saying that they can edit or they can just view. So by doing this, I've created a folder that other people can go back to next week, next month, until I take the sharing away. So this is a great way to create a folder for third parties to be able to collaborate on when you're just giving them documents. Here's the latest version. Instead of going emailing back and forth, so there's all these downloads and which version is the latest, so on and so forth, by simply sharing this folder, we bypassed all that. So it's an easy way for you to create a shared folder for people outside your organization that you then don't have to do emails back and forth.
Mm-hmm. And Bob, I remember you and I had quite a lengthy conversation about the shared with everyone folder.
Right.
So,
By default, that is a folder that is created in OneDrive for Business that, again, by default, everybody within your organization has access to.
mm-hmm.
So that's automatically shared with everybody. If you want to get into a lot more specific sharing, SharePoint Online probably gives you a little bit more, it gives you better, top-down administrative control. But again, it's Microsoft, so you've got 20 different ways to do this.
Mm-hmm. But the shared with everyone folder is nice if you have documents that everybody in the company needs to have access to, right? That's where
Right.
you would put everything in the shared with everyone, and then you can also create folders within that shared with everyone folder, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can have folders for whatever request forms or um, folders for expense reports or what have you, anything that everybody would need access to. So that's really nice.
Yep. So just to show, so here is this is the email that I received, my rlcoppedge@gmail.com. I click on that. Boom. And now I have access to that folder.
Great. And just to be clear, you shared that with somebody who does not have Office 365.
I shared this with rlcoppedge@gmail.com, who has absolutely nothing to do whatsoever with Office 365.
Right. Okay. Because I know I get asked that question quite a bit with people using Office 365, if you can share files with people who don't necessarily have Office 365.
Yep, you can. Now, just like everything else, if both parties have Office tools, if both parties have Office 365, the more in sync they are in terms of their tools and how their organizations are set up, the more functionality there is. And quite honestly, the same would be true if we're talking about two companies who both have, Google's tools.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be more productive than one group that has Google and one group that has Office 365.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a synergy that people using the same tools brings. Similarly, you're going to have more security when both parties are using the same tools. And again, it makes sense because you kind of have to let the walls down a little bit in order to let other organizations in.
That makes sense.
So, That's my piece.
All right, great. Thanks, Bob. Um, well, I'd love to know if anybody has any questions. If you do, feel free to type them in the chat window. Um, in the meantime, Bob, I'm going to take over here and present my screen again
Go for it.
because I wanted to show you that I have found this the slide that I wanted to show you with the upcoming webinar topic. So um, I just wanted to mention that while you're thinking of any questions that you might have. I just wanted to mention that, like I said, next Thursday I'm going to talk about Microsoft Project. So just the very basics of Project. If you've never used it before, or if you got thrown into it and don't feel like you have a good grasp on the basics, we're going to go back to basics next week. And then in May we have a couple webinar scheduled. I'm going to talk about the advanced features of Outlook, how to be an Outlook ninja. So getting past some of the basics there with Outlook and talking about some more of the advanced features, which will most likely have some of the Skype for Business integration included with it. And then May 17th, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to do a webinar on the accidental project manager because I think we have more accidental project managers than we do intentional project managers sometimes in companies. So this is going to be, hey, your job title doesn't include project manager in it, but here's a project that I'm dumping on your lap, and what are you going to, and how are you going to manage that? How are you going to monitor that? So we'll talk about how to do that. And then June, we'll talk about perfecting your graphics in Office. This will be kind of a fun, light webinar, but I have found recently that I've used some of the features of the graphics in Outlook, PowerPoint, Excel, whatever, more recently than I have in the past. So just for very simple things like, changing our logo from color to black and white, or putting it, word wrapping text around a graphic, things like that. The things that you can do that you might not have spent a lot of time learning because it didn't seem important, but things that'll save you some time. And also, it's helpful for me because I don't have a lot of um, photo editing tools. So the more that I can do in Office, the better for me. And then June 16th, I'm really looking forward to doing the Office 365 Planner. If you've had your eye on this, we'll walk you through what it is. It's basically just Microsoft's new project planning tool. So it's very much like Trello and some of the other tools where you've got lists and cards that you can move back and forth, following some of the agile methodologies that you might be familiar with. So just wanted to mention that since I couldn't find that slide at the very beginning of our webinar. So all right, thanks everyone, and I hope that you can join us next month for the advanced features of Outlook. That'll be on May 10th. Thanks everyone. Bye.